satisfaction on campus, and the top two things that BSU students were most interested in were opportunities to explore their major as it relates to careers, and the second thing was career services. So as I mentioned, this came from the Student Needs and Satisfaction Survey, and that's why we're talking about this tonight. So more specifically, Carol's going to go into what is career services.
So, as I mentioned, I've been working in career services for a very long time. I'm old. And one of the things I found, no matter where I was, private or public, was that I had a difficult time marketing career services and trying to explain to people what career services is. Because we do a lot. A lot. We do internships. We talk about, career counseling in general. We do talk about jobs. We talk about curriculum vitae and resumes. And we do interviewing and job placement. And there's just so much that we talk about in career services. And when I spoke to practitioners across the country, they agreed with us that it's very difficult to go up to a student and explain to each one of you everything we do. And then we have to kind of scramble to figure out what word is going to attract you to come to our office. And that's a pain in the neck, because I used to be in PR and marketing before I went into career services, and you got to be able to sell what you do so that students get what you do. So about 3 years ago, we sat down as a group, all our staff, and tried to come up with a better phrase, first of all, to explain what we do, so that not only students would understand, but parents would understand as well. And that phrase was this. We decided that our new mission was going to be to provide students with opportunities to learn and practice specific skills to transition from a student role to a professional role. And I tested that out a couple of times. I would have students come into my office and I'd say, well, my job is to help you to learn the skills you need to become a professional. Does that make sense? It makes sense, doesn't it? And the students started saying, yeah, all right, I get that. Whereas if I threw a whole pile of words at them about internships and jobs, it's overwhelming. This is simple. But as we were thinking about this, we also realized that we needed to define what those skills were. Our national organization has a set of skills, but we wanted to talk to staff here at Bridgewater, faculty at Bridgewater, and we also wanted to talk to employers that we work with. Employers who care about our students and want to hire our students. So we asked a very simple, what's called an open-ended question. Please list the professional skills you feel Bridgewater State University students should obtain to transition from a student to a professional position. We got great responses. And people made all sorts of comments about what they were looking for and what was important to them. And then we did something that we called codify. We took what's called qualitative material, so not numbers, so because we got language, and then we categorized it. And in the end, we ended up with 28 skills. Advocacy, so advocating, learning how to advocate for yourself in particular. Critical analytical skills, computer skills, customer service. I hadn't thought of that one. That one surprised me. We had enough people talk about the importance of having that as a skill. And that doesn't show up in a lot of other skill sets that you see in professional skills. Diversity awareness, field-specific skills and knowledge. Financial knowledge and skills. A lot of employers talked about how important it was that students knew how to manage their own money and knew how to handle a budget even at a job. Followership. Followership is the opposite of leading, but it's also important that you need to know how to follow appropriately somebody else. Global awareness, independence, leadership, negotiation, networking, being able to organize, professional attire, behavior, ethics, goals, and presence were all important, as well as those professional relationships were considered important, that you need to build in a professional setting, professional writing, of course, research skills. This one we decided it had so many responses, we had to put it into a separate category. Social media professionalism. A lot of employers were saying that this is becoming a problem. That all of us need to learn how to connect with others via social media, whether it be Facebook or otherwise, and not get into trouble in doing it. And not have problems coming across as professional when you're on social media. Teamwork, time management, verbal communication, and the work-life balance came up. What do you think of this list? It's a good list, isn't it? Yeah, we were really pleased with it. And it got us all pretty excited about this shift from doing all sorts of work in all sorts of different directions to really starting to focus on these skills that you guys need to learn, or are in the process of learning now, or have started to learn even years ago, but we need to help you learn more. It was nice to be able to compare it to NACE's, actually our National Organization for Career Counselors. And they did a 2015 job outlook survey. They actually do it every year. And they look at 260 employers. So we looked at 100 people, they did 260. And they came up with, there's the teamwork, there's solving problems, there's verbal communication, organizing, obtaining information, quantitative data, so analysis, technical data, computer, software, edit reports, sell and influence others. That's at the top. So we think we did pretty well with our list. So we decided to stick with our list. We could have used NACE's, but we liked ours because it was regionally focused. Again, it was employers. Anybody know what the elevator speech is?
Is it your voice?
I'm sorry?
Voice?
No,
Fluctuate.
no, it's not.
It's
It's a 30 to 60 second sales pitch. It's called an elevator speech because what if you got into an elevator and turned around and there was Taylor Swift or somebody else that you're really excited to meet, and you've always wanted to become a singer, and you're on the first floor with her, and she reaches her finger out and hits the third floor button. You got 2 floors to sell yourself, Taylor Swift. How are you going to do that? The elevator speech. An elevator speech should always answer, who am I? So a little bit about you, a little bit about your, and again, we're talking about professional background. So who you are as a professional. What have you done that relates to your career? And for students, it's internships, oftentimes, or job experiences. But for all of you, it may be the work you're doing now and what you've done in the past. What makes you different from anyone else? So you have to think about what makes you better. And then last but not least, what do I hope to do in the future?
So this survey that we did gave us such good information and data that we revamped everything. We did a whole overhaul. The nice thing was that we were already teaching students a lot of these skills, but now we're just being more intentional about it. So our goal here, again, is to give students the opportunity to really not only learn, but practice, just as you did. You actually practiced the handshake. You practiced the elevator speech. You weren't just listening and hearing about it. You actually got the chance to try it out. So that is our goal, and these are the skills that they will take with them after they graduate, hopefully on to the workforce. So what did we change? So we showed you earlier, we changed our mission statement, and again, that's very focused now on student to professional. We changed even our appointments. So when students come into our office, they meet with a career counselor one-on-one, and even the content of what we focus on in those appointments is changed. So whatever we discuss related to the job search, we always go back to that list of skills. If we're talking about networking, we focus on the specific things that employers want to hear. You know, we really incorporate that knowledge into our one-on-one conversations with students. We've even changed up or added to our online resources, and I'm going to show you some of those in a bit. Our workshops are changed as well. All of our presentations are now really, again, focused on some of these skills and the ability to learn them. Our career guides, I'll show you an example of that. These are physical resources students can take with them from our office Our career guides, again, are all focused on these skills. Our events, our programs, even our evaluations and how we actually assess what we're doing all ties back to that list of skills and whether students are learning or practicing in that particular event. So I'm going to actually show you some of the key highlights and examples, and these are actually already open, Carol, so if you want to. This is an example of how we have changed our actual resources. So this is a physical guide that's printed, students can take from our office. We also have it online, and this is, for example, our networking guide. So if you scroll through this, Carol, I just want to show them some of the stuff we've added. Within this packet, you'll see a lot of the skills that were mentioned. Let's just take a look at this here. So you have information on everything from preparing to network by doing your research and learning about etiquette to actual online etiquette. We talked about that social media professionalism. We can actually head to the next tab now, and this is an example of our LinkedIn group. Now, how many of you in the room have a LinkedIn account? A good amount of you. So you might be familiar, and this is something we're really pushing with students. LinkedIn is an excellent way to teach students about professionalism and the skills that they need to be successful. And we do that in a few ways, but this one is something that we call the BSU Student and Alumni Networking Group. So this is actually a group of upwards of 300 BSU alumni who have agreed to serve as mentors. And what that means is that they want to give advice to current students. They are waiting to hear from students, to answer questions. They want to be able to network. They want to give you all types of recommendations. And so students can join this group and actually pose questions to alums. And this is a great example right here. We have a student, Erica, who posted a question. She said, searching for a career in operations management. And then she gives a little bit of kind of her elevator speech. Hello all. I'm a current operations management major, graduating in December. I'm currently employed at the Rockport Company and work under the Director of Store Ops. I'm in the process now of applying for other careers in order to keep my options open and to see what's available. Does anyone have advice for this process or recommendations of companies to look into? So she gives a little bit more insight. And if you scroll down, you'll see that there are 8 comments from these BSU alumni mentors. So we have a great comment right off the bat from some of our alums who are giving her direct advice. If you keep scrolling down, some people will also oftentimes recommend that the student reach out to them individually, one-on-one, so that could then lead to an in-person networking opportunity. So this group itself is teaching students about a lot of skills. Again, online social media professionalism. It's teaching them how to understand professional writing, so they have to write appropriately to address an alum. It's teaching them about networking, computer skills, all of those pieces, again, that fall back into that list. So this is an excellent example of a group that we've really focused on the student to professional mindset. The next tab is just an example of another program. Actually, Carol talked about this, our Job Shadow program. So this reflects very well, again, on that list of skills. Our Job Shadow program is an opportunity for students to go to a company for one day over winter break. And they get to actually go to that organization and shadow and observe professionals that work there. So in that one day, they basically get to test drive the job and see what it's really like, for example, to work with Channel 5 ABC News, or to work with the Department of Corrections at the Old Colony Correctional Facility, or to work at the State House with a legislator. These are actual sites for our job shadows. So we typically work with 12 to 13 or so organizations, and students get to choose their top interest. So the Job Shadow program, again, teaches them what is it really like to interact with professionals, and what is it going to be like when I get there? What skills do I need to know if I want this job one day when I graduate? So this is an example of a program that we've tweaked. And the last tab is a relatively new one, still in the works, so it's kind of in beta mode, but I'm really, really excited. Carol and I are very excited about this. This is a new software called Interview Stream that we've purchased, and this allows students to conduct practice interviews from their dorm room, from their home. from the sidewalk, wherever they want to be. They can actually do a practice interview on their smartphone or on their laptop. And what happens from there is that interview is sent to one of us or someone in our office. We critique it and give them feedback on how they did. So they don't have to necessarily find the time to schedule an appointment during their busy semester. They can actually do this all from home. Their residence hall, excuse me. I know I said the wrong word. I picked up on it. So this is a great example of a technology that we're incorporating, an online resource, again, that goes back to that skill set list. So Interview Stream is something that's up and coming. We're excited to use it in the future with faculty and in the classroom and even potentially in different processes on campus, whether they're leadership interviews or even RA interviews. It's going to be a great tool for the campus. So each of these items are just key examples of how we transition students from their current home to the professional world. And there's a lot more beyond this, but these are just some highlights. So at this point, what we want to encourage your students to do is certainly to come visit us, because we do these programs and events, but what really makes a difference in a student's career development is having the opportunity to talk to a career counselor one-on-one. And that's really what we spend most of our day doing, in one-on-one appointments with students, because every student has a different story. Every student has a different interest and a future career path. So we love the opportunity to sit down with them one-on-one and help them plan out where they want to go. And there's so many other things that we do, but this is just sort of a snapshot of, again, that idea of student to professional. So, as it says here, we want to encourage your students to set up an appointment. The types of appointments can range from everything from choosing a major or changing a major, to general career counseling, which I always say is what I want to do with my life questions. Then you have the internship search process. We work with students, of course, on resumes and cover letters, the networking process, practice interviews, as I mentioned, graduate school, planning, job search planning. So really, any of these topics, they can call and schedule an appointment with one of the counselors. And our office is located in the campus center on the bottom floor. And we're pretty much open business hours, Monday through Friday. But we also are available for Tuesday evening appointments. So if your student happens to work during the day and they can't really get in, they can actually schedule a Tuesday evening appointment. We had 2 tonight, so our counselors were there till 7 o'clock. So this is, one of the best ways to get them in to get started. And the other thing I just wanted to mention, there's some handouts on your table. Excuse me for taking this. This one here is a nice little 4-year plan. So it actually includes information for your student each year, things that they want to be thinking about, stuff to have on their radar. So different events and programs throughout our office that can really help them with their career development. So it's a year-by-year plan, so this would be good to keep or make a copy of. And then the other item is this one here. This is actually our spring calendar, so it shows you all the different types of events and programs that we offer just in the spring, and we offer a whole host of other events in the fall. So you'll see everything from our resume writing workshops to today we actually had a career panel on foreign language careers, where we had 3 alumni come back to campus to talk about their success. The practice interview program, where you can sign up to do an interview with an employer and get feedback for juniors and seniors. Of course, our job and internship fair is the big event this semester. That's going to be on Wednesday, April 1st. And our job and internship fairs typically have at least 60 companies that come to campus to talk to students about internships, as well as full-time jobs. So that's coming up. And if any of your students are teachers or future teachers in the education program, we have a separate fair just for that, and that's the Education Career Fair on Wednesday, April 8th. That event will have about 50 school districts that will come to campus to recruit teacher candidates. I mentioned our etiquette dinner. That's going to be on Monday, April 13th. There's only a couple spots left, so if you're interested, register right away. And so on. So you can see all the things that we're doing this semester, and if you're interested in attending any, the students just need to go to our website and register right online. So it's very, very simple. So that, in essence, is what we call student to professional.